Beinn Eighe National Nature Reserve in Torridon is a mighty place, home to the mountain of the same name, but it's extremely accessible for anyone who wants to get a taste of Scotland's ancient pine woods, because they've got that low-level walk there. Right now there's an added attraction, an art project created by local school kids, and the whole idea was instigated by local artist Lynn Bennett-Mackenzie.
There's a skull, a deer skull, and it's covered in aluminium foil, and it's tucked into one of the hollows in the tree. So at first glance you might not notice it, and then you sort of catch the silver and realise what it is.
It's quite haunting, really.
It is, yes. Now they're sort of been in situ for a wee while. They're sort of settled. The pieces have settled in and changed a bit. And yeah, they're more subtle now, but still look good.
Well, let's see if we can find some more, because that's part of the allure of this particular trail right now, isn't it?
It is, yes. Sort of keeping your eye open, especially a day like this when there's good light. You've got a better chance of seeing a glint in the trees or heather.
In fact, there we are, right in amongst the pine trees. I can see some shiny silver.
Yeah.
Is that another skull
there?
Another
skull, I think. Yeah.
Just describe the background to all of this, then.
Sort of got in touch with an Indian artist, Somu Desai, and over a period of months we've been planning to hold some international artist residencies on the West Coast next year. And as a precursor to that, he came over August, September, and we did a project with some of the local schools in conjunction with Scottish Natural Heritage to create the pieces that are on this trail.
And what's the idea then? Because people might wonder why you would want to cover a deer skull or a sheep skull in aluminium foil.
It was sort of all about the process of getting found objects like deer skulls and pieces of driftwood, some antlers and things, and involving local children to change these objects to see how a piece can be changed and the perception of it can be changed quite easily, and then to place it themselves in and around the trails, so when visitors wander around it'll make them think about the object and how it's made them change their opinion of it.
We've got a piece of driftwood here that's been covered in the foil underneath a pine tree here.
Yeah.
And there's something quite astonishing about it, really.
It's a simple concept, but it's really quite effective, I think. Eye-catching, and over time the pieces will deteriorate. I hope not for a good while yet. Some pieces have started to lose little bits of the foil, and some of the bigger pieces that were placed in some of the burns, there was a lot of rainwater just not long after we put the pieces in, so quite a lot of the foil has come off those. But no, it's a nice way to sort of bring interest to the trails and make people think about a bit more about the environment in which they're in.
Aha, what have we there?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest pieces that was covered in foil, and sort of probably, I don't know, half of it's maybe come off now, but it's been lifted out the burn and left at the side, so it'll sort of continue to degrade there, and eventually it'll probably go back to just being a plain piece of driftwood again.
And up here in the tree we've got an antler that's covered in foil as well, which it's quite magical, really, isn't it? Because it's almost as if some a magical deer has come and left their mark.
Yeah, that's quite a good description, yeah. And it'd be interesting, it'd be nice to see them when we get some ice and snow as well. It'll sort of be more festive then, really.
How did the kids respond to doing this?
They loved it, yeah, they responded really well. It was kids from Gairloch Primary and Gairloch High School and Kinlochewe Primary School, and they all really got into the spirit of things.
And what do you think was the message that was coming across to them? How did they perceive it as they were creating this stuff?
I think it just made them think a wee bit more about art and how it doesn't have to just be paint and paper and pencils. There can be a lot more to it and a lot more thought that goes into it than people sometimes realise. They had to think about when they were covering the pieces, but then when they were placing them, to try and put them in a position that fitted the piece, really.
Do you think that they picked up on any of the environmental messages that you guys might have had behind the concept here?
I think some of them certainly did, yes. I mean, there's always those that don't, but no, I think some of them certainly made them sort of consider what they were doing and the place that we live in as well, I think.
Because it is a place of great beauty.
Yes, yes. And there's not much rubbish and clutter and commercialisation around here. So it maybe makes them think a bit more about that as well.
Lynn, Bennett-Mackenzie at the Beinn Eighe National Nature Reserve. And those objects, you can see them on our Facebook page too. So it's remarkably effective, actually.
Yeah, no, they're great. Just very, very briefly before we talk about that, if you want to see a thing of beauty, certainly if you're in the northeast of Scotland, stick your head out the window. There is the most stunning sunrise. This kind of stripes.
You know that old saying?
What's that?
You know, red sky at night,
Yeah.
microscopic dust particles high in the atmosphere diffracting light, red sky in morning, the same.
Yes.
It's not as catchy, but it's accurate.
There's lovely slashes of salmon pink right across that. What colour of blue is that?
Oh, baby blue, I would say. And there's just a half moon up there, and we're getting mobbed by seagulls. But it is really striking because there's beech trees in front of us too, none of them with a leaf on. Everything's gone, so there's just a silhouette against that.
Yeah, it's great.
Bands of colours, really pretty.
But as I was saying on the, if you go to Facebook and look at Outdoors, you'll find the pictures of those objects. And they're beautiful. The skull covered in
It
foil.
works really well,
Works
actually.
really well.
Surprising.
It's something slightly spooky about it. If you were coming through the woods and you suddenly found all these steel-clad skulls around, and a very dramatic picture of a dragonfly made out of stones, just carpeted there.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. If you're walking through the woods and you suddenly see that, it's going to make you think. It's going to make you appreciate it a bit more. It's going to stop you in your tracks. Like, what's all that about? How are we going to get out the forest now? All the white pebbles have been used.
And the birds have eaten the breadcrumbs. Now what?